Alright, here we go. So we got another one. Another player who knows he's lost, so he's just stalling. This particular player is just sitting here, not doing anything. I guess hoping that I'll quit. I'm not going to quit. I got the W in the bag. This is pretty much my inboard right here. I haven't used the effect of Sprite Elf. I have used the effect of this to revive my Baron de Fleur. I haven't used the effect of Doom King, which means he's going to get something banished, something negated, unless he uses a Kaiju, which he does run Kaijus in his deck. He's got a Kaiju there. He can tribute off one of these, but it does not matter. He can even tribute this off. It does not matter. I can pretty much bring all of this stuff right back. So this card right here has its own self-reviving effect. So it'll come back. This card has a self-reviving effect. This card right here can be revived by this card. Like I said, I haven't. This diviner was used last turn. I just left it on the field because I didn't have anything to go into. So I can use the effect of Sprite Elf to revive the other diviner in just a second, and I'll send Agito to basically start milling again if he decides to ever play. But more than likely, he's probably never going to play. He's probably going to get a time limit loss. This is what I always go through all the time, all day, every day. This is just the funniest thing ever. People just sit here and do absolutely nothing except the time limit loss. And sometimes they'll wait to the very last second and just pass turn off their toggle, whatever the case may be, and just hope that I can't make plays. But absolutely I can make plays. Eradicator epidemic virus is in my graveyard, so more than likely I might actually just shuffle back my Kelbex, set that, call traps, because look at his deck, full of traps. So that actually might be the play, is just to set Eradicator, call traps, call it a day, screw him all the way over. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, is shuffle back my Kelbex if he does play, but if not, he's more than likely just going to lose anyways. And then I'm going to mill the rest of his deck. If he sets some traps, I'll set my Eradicator. On my turn, I'll pop all of his traps. So he won't be able to really do anything unless he's got like an evenly matched. Even then, I'll just keep Sprite Elf and bring back the Diviner and still do the same thing anyways. I mean, he's got mostly traps anyways. Even then, I could still negate his evenly with Baron de Fleur. I haven't used the negate yet, so I could do that too. So, or I'll just take the time limit win. You know, some players know they can't play through this. A monster negate, or plus an omni negate, plus a banish, plus a revive of a diviner that I got in my graveyard. If he looked in my graveyard, plus I got graveyard protection. So if he does decide to, there it is. If he did decide to attack, I had Al Ghul in the graveyard. So time limit win. GG's, my boy. So yeah, easy dub. Alright, so here's the match. This is the easy claps that I just did. This is the full match in its entirety, how it kind of played out. I start off Overdance, activate Xiamen. I go Foxy Tune. Foxy Tune's going to send. I send a Diviner so that way I can get access to that Diviner milling once I get Sprite Elf out onto the field. Grab Necroface so that way I can unbanish everything on my next turn. And I go ahead and send Shinobi Necro. Shinobi Necro being sent will allow me to get it onto the field by banishing it. Put Chang-Chi onto the field. Send a Mizuki to the graveyard. Send Doom King to the graveyard so it'll revive itself. Go into Red Eyes Dragon Zombie Lord. Go into Vampire Sucker right here. Then I revive his I revive this card on the field for him, the Battle Fader. And just mill. Now, let's look in the graveyard so y'all can see what all I have in here. Got Kelbeck in the graveyard, which I will shuffle back with the Medora or the Keldo. I do have both in the graveyard. Um, Also had Map Mauler, so I could have continued to make extensions, but I did need space for multiple monsters to come back. So I need space for Sprite Elf to bring something back. I need space for this to bring something back, plus space for Doom King. That's why I didn't continue to make plays. I did have more plays to make, but I wanted to leave three spaces open because on his turn, three things are going to come back, which is insane. Of course, the last one didn't come back because I didn't get a chance to activate Sprite Elf because he basically just time limit lost, and I never got to the main phase one to my priority. So that's why that happens. So Exchange of Spirit is in the graveyard, so I can set a trap. All I have to do is just send Kelbeck. Doom King's in the grave. Chain Cheese in the grave, which doesn't matter on his turn, but Al Ghul is in the grave. That's destruction protection for my zombie monsters. Everything's a zombie because zombie world's on the field. Baron de Flor is in the graveyard, which is what I'll use this card to revive with, and he can't target it because it's under the arrow of Sprite Elf, which is why I also put it under the arrow right here, so then that way if he activates Imperm, the only thing he can Imperm is Diviner, that's over here, or the Sprite Elf. So he can't actually Imperm, and then he can't Imperm me anyways to start off because I gave him this weak ass monster on his field that he can't do anything with. And then if he tries to like basically link off or start making plays, that'll give me priority to use the elf to bring back Diviner and mill 10 more cards out of his deck, potentially 15 cards out of his deck, and he's got 23 by simply milling Kelbeck and then hoping that Kelbeck hits Agito as well. And I was going to shuffle back this Agito just to boost the odds before I actually let this card resolve, so then that way, you know, basically it'll boost my mills. And let's see how many cards. I got 21 in my deck, so chances of hitting it pretty good. Let's see here. So still got the Diviner, got the Eradicator. The Eradicator, because he has mostly traps in his deck, all I gotta do is look through his graveyard. I see that he's playing a heavy trap deck. All I would have had to do was set Eradicator and literally call trap, and it would screw him all the way over by just milling Kelbeck, and his traps wouldn't even have time to activate. He would have to flip all of them over right away as soon as I flip Eradicator anyways. So that would have completely screwed him over if he would have tried to use his traps anyways. So yeah. Also, Nemesis Keystone is in my grave, so I could banish this with Fairy Tale Snow and it'll go back to my hand, and then I can unbanish something here, but it didn't matter anyways because I got Necroface right here. So yeah, pretty powerful board that I'm setting up. So Baron de Flora comes back. It's untargetable as well because it's under one of the arrows of Sprite Elf. Doom King comes back, and of course it looks quick on this side, but as you guys saw, time limit loss. He sat there and did absolutely nothing. So GG's my boy. Take this L, hold this L, and I'll see you on the next one.